Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you the second part in my big book haul. The first part of the video is already published and I've linked it down in the description and also up in the iCards. You can check it out if you're interested. I'd suggest you to look it out because I've got some amazing books in that video also. And I was able to fit in a total of 16 books inside the 1800 rupees box. I actually filmed an unboxing video for this one already, but what happened was when I sat down for editing the video, I found that all the audio files in my video were totally corrupt and I had filmed for almost 2 hours and all of it was totally a waste of time. So I cannot do the unboxing again also because everything is unwrapped and I've separated them completely. So I just went forward and planned to do it in the book haul itself. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first book is Make Time by Knapp and John Zeratsky. Now this book is one which I got as a recommendation from Ali Abdal's videos. He has this playlist of videos in his channel called the Book Club, and from that I found this video and watched it like 4 to 5 months back, and ever since I watched that video I found the concept of this book very much intriguing, and when I went forward and saw it on Amazon, the price of this book was extremely high, and I can totally understand it after having seen the book in person because the quality of the book, guys, is amazing, and I just bought it for around 105 to 110 rupees in the lock the box sale. I can say that this is a complete steal for me. Now this is a book which is on time management and productivity in general. Now I am a person who's so much into productivity and I can always make use of some extra time by the end of the day no matter what happens because I do a lot of work. I have a full-time job as well as I run this channel and I read a lot. So obviously I require a lot more time to do all the stuff that I want to do without burning out or tiring out. The concept of this book seemed so much interesting for me, so when I found a copy for it I just went forward and bought it. The book is very visual and the quality of the pages is super great. It is like chart paper and magazine sheets which are laminated put together. Each and every paper is so thick and the book is super heavy, guys. I'm just glad that I was able to get it for such a great deal and I'm so much interested to get into it. The next one is a literary fiction which I've been wanting to read for 2 years now, and it is The Masked Room by Rachel Kushner. Again, this is a book which is available for very expensive prices in Amazon, so when I found the copy I just went forward and bought it. Now in this one we follow this main character of ours who has committed some kind of crime, and the thing which happens in this particular world is that all the people who are committing some kind of crime are actually totally isolated and they are kept inside this facility where they are to go through some things that actually don't even happen in prisons. It is totally a mentally straining and draining environment, and what are the things that happen to our main character and the other people who are surrounding her, that are people who are also imprisoned or kept inside this facility, is the actual concept of this book. I'm sure that I'm not articulating the concept of the book that well, but just go forward and try to read the blurb of this book on the internet. I'm sure that it will be intriguing for you. It is also a book which was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2018. I'm sure that it will be good in that way at least. Usually books which are nominated for awards like this one are really good in writing, so I'm expecting a lot in terms of writing as well as the concept of the book because it sounds super intriguing. The next book which I have is a huge one, okay, and it is Commendatore by Haruki Murakami. I actually have another Murakami book in my shelf and it is Kafka on the Shore. I've actually not even read that yet, but when I found this huge hardcover, okay, it is a used copy, the dust jacket is very much worn out, but the quality of the book is awesome, and I just found such a great book in size as well as the quality. I just went forward and purchased it. That's the only reason why I purchased it as well. I've heard really positive things about this book in particular compared to other Murakami books, and it is also very huge. I'm sure that it will take a lot of time for me to get into this. I actually like the flavor and the atmosphere within which Murakami writes his books because they are so peculiar and even weird in a good way. One great thing about the physical appearance of this book is that the naked hardback just looks like a paint palette. I'll just show it to you guys. You can see it, right? It is like a palette and it is really gorgeous. Even the spine has some blobs of paint which are just shown here. This is because the main character of this book is an artist. I just find the designing of this book to be very intriguing and interesting, and also it has taken a lot more effort which is totally completely visible. So yeah, can't wait to get into this as well. The next 3 books are by the same author, and the author is Matt Haig. I've actually got 2 of his fiction books and 1 non-fiction book. Now I'll talk about the fiction books first, then we'll get into the non-fiction book. The first fiction book which I want to talk about is The Last Family in England by Matt Haig. In this one we follow a family of 4 people along with a dog, and the best part which intrigued me the most in order to pick up this book rather than anything else was the concept of the dog, okay? And as far as I can understand from the blurb of the book, the point of view of the story being narrated is from the point of view of the dog, and I've personally not read any book being written from the point of view of a dog, and if you know me, you know that I love dogs completely, okay? They are the most precious things in the world, and I think there must be as many dogs in the world as there are people, and every person should have a dog friend and every dog should have a human being. You can just see that the cover of the book is also really beautiful and the condition of the book is just as new. So I just want to read this book for the dog alone. Next we have The Possession of Mr. Cave, also by Haig. Now in this one we follow this man named Mr. Cave who has had many bad things happening in his life. His family has been murdered, one of his children had died very miserably, and the other child is actually the one who's living with him. But because of all the bad things which have happened, he's trying to be protective of the other child, but that protection becomes something like kind of a possessive obsession and it just destroys both of their lives very, very badly. I'm sure that the other books sound very light in tone and bright, but this one seems very dark and depressing. I'm very much interested to see how the author actually contrasts his writing styles when it comes to different books. It is also a very short read, so I hope to read this very soon. And at last, the non-fiction book which the author has written, which is Notes on a Nervous Planet by Haig alone. Now, this book was given as a recommendation by Anchal from Libro Review in one of her videos from the past, and the concept of the book just sounded very interesting to me. Then I just forgot about that book totally. When I found it on the Lock the Box sale, it was available as a paperback as well as hardcover, so I just obviously went for the hardcover. It is also a tiny hardcover, so it does not take up much of the space. The dust jacket of the book is very much worn out, but as a whole the book is in really good condition. Now the author has actually talked about his experience with anxiety and panic attacks in this one, and how we can actually manage our way through the world even while we have all those mental illnesses. Personally, I'm a person who suffers with anxiety a lot, and in this past year I worked on myself and tried to bring it down very much. I can say that I'm in a better place than I was before right now, and I think that this book will be very helpful for me because this is from a person who's also faced anxiety and panic in his past, and now he's doing comparatively better than he used to. So because of that aspect, I'm so much looking forward to get into this as soon as I can. The next two books are the first two books in a sci-fi trilogy, and it is The Illuminae Files by Amie Kaufman and J. Kristoff. I actually made a video very recently, a few weeks back, talking about the series which I'll probably not read at all, and this was definitely one series which I included in that list. And the reason why I went forward and purchased the books even then is because these were available as new copies, and these books cost so much. They cost around 400-500 rupees even as paperbacks on Amazon itself. I actually have listened to the audiobook of Illuminae first, and I tried listening to Gemina, but I did not like Gemina at all because I was not able to connect with that book, and it just felt like the things were happening in the same way that they happened in Illuminae also. But the first book, Illuminae, I enjoyed completely because it was so different from anything that I've read before, because the book is actually set in a mixed media format. It is not like paragraphs and dialogues continuously. We have emails, CCTV recordings, normal text messages, and many other kinds of communication that are actually put inside this book. Now, this series actually takes place in 2575 in a very distant future where humanity is very low in number, and there's this huge high-tech company which plans to take over a small smidge of a planet, and in that planet we have our two main characters, Ezra and Katie, who are trying to make their way out of it in an escape spaceship. And when they get into it, very crazy things happen because there is so much space, but there are so many human beings, and many other things also happen, because of which there's this mutated viral disease that is also spreading very fastly, and the virus is totally uncontrollable because it is in the far future from the time in which the series was actually written. As a whole, this book was amazing, and I'm very much hoping to like this also when I read it physically, because the formatting of this book is just awesome. If I end up finishing these two in 2022, I'm sure that I'll buy the third book, which is Obsidio, also and read it. I actually thought of getting that too in the Lock the Box sale itself, but it was not available. So yeah, I'm very much pumped to get into these. The genre of the next book which I've purchased is mythology, and it is definitely by one of the most well-known and best mythological authors that we have in our country, and it is Shyam, an illustrated retelling of the Bhagavata by Devdutt Pattanaik. I've personally read many of Devdutt Pattanaik's books in the past, and I've loved each and every one of them because the amount of knowledge and the depth of knowledge that the author has on these subjects which he writes about is so deep and so vast that everything that he says is backed up by actual things that have been said in the Vedic scripts before. And I'm a person who likes reading mythology because I was brought up in such a way, and the way in which he writes the books is also very interesting and engaging rather than anything. Now, the best thing about this book is that it is illustrated, and obviously there are some very gorgeous illustrations inside, and my mother is also very much interested in reading this one. There are actually two other books in this series written by the same author before, and they are the illustrated retellings of the Mahabharata and Ramayana. After finishing this one, I'll probably buy those and also read them. So yeah, this was a great buy for me, and I just can't wait to start reading this. The next one is the last non-fiction book in this entire book haul, and it is The Source by Dr. Tara Swart. Now, this is a book which is totally based on the concept of the law of attraction and how we attract all the things that we experience and have in our lives. And in layman's terms, I can say that the law of attraction actually works by giving you the things that you actually feel good about and bad about as well at the same time. Now I can say that many of us think that bad things happen to us and because of that we feel bad, but the concept of the law of attraction is that if you feel bad, bad things happen to you. This sounds so lame and so stupid. I can totally get it because 2 years back, I was also thinking the same thing, but then I read The Secret as well as The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. These are 2 books which you have to read with such an open mind in order to get the goal that they are actually delivering to you. And after reading those books, they felt so practical and believable to me. I just went forward and applied some of the concepts which I learned from The Secret as well as The Power of Your Subconscious Mind in my life, and it did make my life feel a lot happier and better, and I was starting to look forward and find opportunities rather than just obstacles and threats continuously. This is one book which has been in my Amazon cart for almost 1 year now, but I've not purchased it yet at all. So when I found it, I just went forward and bought it again. I hope to get some different insights about the law of attraction from this book. Let's just wait and see whether I'll get them or not. The next book is a YA contemporary, and it is The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner. Now in this one, we follow our main character named Dill, and one of the main problems that he faces is the weird placing of his name because no one else has that kind of a name, which is Dill. And Dill has this 2 sides of his life. One in which he has to be with his father, who continuously compels him to capture snakes, and the second half is his high school life, which is definitely as bad as it is for any high schooler out there. And this book was recommended by one of my most favorite booktubers, who's Yasmina Edina. If you've not checked out her channel, please do check it out. This was actually marked as a hardcover copy in the Locktobox app, but I got only a paperback delivered, so that's a problem. But apart from that, I'm very much interested in the concept of the book, and since it's YA also, I think it'll be easier to read and also from a very peculiar point of view. Let's see how it goes. The next one is a contemporary middle grade book, and it is definitely a cover buy. Okay, I did not even read the blurb of this book. I just went forward and bought it. And just now before some time I read the blurb of the book, and it is The Tunnels Below by Nadine Wilde Palmer. You can just see that the cover of the book is super pretty. The thing which intrigued me the most and made me pick up this book is the face of the little girl, in which half of her face is covered by this crow or raven sort of bird, and we can see one of her eyes and one of the bird's eyes, and it just felt so interesting and intriguing to me. Now in this book we follow this little girl named Cecilia, who on her 12th birthday finds herself in the tunnels of London, and she has to navigate her way through the tunnels and out to her own home. And while she makes this travel, she finds many different and dark things that are actually happening inside the tunnels, and a total different color of the world as a whole. So it's definitely not just a pretty cover, but also a really good concept. Interested to read this one as well. The last 3 books in this book haul are children's books, and they are from my go-to author when it comes to buying children's books. It is Roald Dahl. I have 3 of his books right now, and the first one is Matilda, which is definitely his most famous book. I actually bought his book The Witches in my last Locktobox sale, but I've not read that one itself yet. But I just went forward and bought these because I'm sure that they will give me breaks in between intense reads, and they'll also be very fun and comical and childlike in multiple instances. So I definitely will read them very, very soon. The next one is Fantastic Mr. Fox, and the last and final one is Danny the Champion of the World. I've actually read a few of Roald Dahl's books before, and I've enjoyed all of them, even though I'm not a child. So I'm sure that all these 3 will be good as well, and I think I'll be picking them up in between heavy and intense reads. So yes guys, those are all the 16 books in the second part of my book haul, and all of them were bought in the Locktobox sale by me. Don't forget to check out the first part of this book haul, which I've linked down in the description. And if you've read any of these books, please do let me know down in the comments how they are and what I can expect from them. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.